The second of the four parenting styles is permissive parenting. Permissive parenting offers warmth and caring, but with little parental control. These parents are generally accepting of their children's behavior and punish them infrequently. They are responsive but not demanding. They are nurturing and loving but offer complete freedom without consequences. Permissive parents are incredibly lenient. They are quite forgiving and they generally adopt an attitude that kids will be kids. The relationship between the parents and the children are more of parents taking on that friend role versus that parental authority figure role. With this, permissive parents sometimes set rules, but if they did, they rarely enforce them. If consequences were given, they are typically inconsistent and even sometimes all talk. Many times, permissive parents think their children will learn best with little interference from them. Permissive parents, in one sense, have given away their parental authority, and instead of demonstrating authority, they choose to be passive. If you have ever seen any of the movies in the Harry Potter series, you probably know that Harry was raised by his aunt and uncle. His aunt and uncle displayed permissive parenting with their son, Dudley, Harry's cousin. A great example of this would be in the first movie when Dudley was celebrating one of his birthdays and he pitched a fit to his parents because he did not have as many presents as this year as he did the year before. You might also remember that his mother quickly tried to rectify the angry child and the situation by offering to buy him more presents when they went to the zoo later on that day. Oftentimes, individuals that choose this type of parenting style are subconsciously trying to overcompensate for something that they likely experienced when they were kids. Perhaps their parents were incredibly authoritarian, or they had very, very strict rules that came with very strict punishments. A lot of times, parents in this situation or who demonstrate this type of parenting, they don't remember having much fun when they were children, nor do they even remember really being liked by many other children their age. Many studies have promoted that permissive parenting styles depicts a very strong desire within the parents to be liked, or that they have strong people-pleasing tendencies. When a child has been raised by permissive parents or caregivers, the outcome of the child is likely strongly insecure. They tend to have poor self-esteem, poor self-control, and they're unable to follow the rules. And in some cases, they might even develop an egocentric complex, which with this, what this means is that the child would struggle to see and understand anyone else's perspective outside of their own. Oftentimes, the reality is their own perception, which, depending on how old the child is, could be quite limited, depending on that developmental stage of adolescence that they're currently in. Outcomes of children raised by permissive parents also may be that they exhibit more behavioral problems as a result of their disregard for the rules. They might struggle with low self-esteem and general overall sadness. They're also at higher risk for health problems like obesity because permissive parents don't like to say no, especially when their kids want junk food. When it comes to discipline, the discipline style of permissive parents and caregivers is that they really don't use consequences. And the consequences that they might have used as a threat likely won't stick, and they probably will give in if the child makes a big enough stink about the whole situation. A lot of times this looks like children begging to get their way, or I promise, I promise, I promise I'll be good. So please, 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 with a cherry on top, let me do it one more time because I promise I won't do it again. And in most cases, permissive parents will give in to this because they want to assume that their children are actually going to not do what they have just done. The problem, of course, comes in that children haven't learned anything different, and they have learned that if they want something and they yell loud enough, they can get what they want, and the parents will give in, probably to avoid a show of embarrassment if I were to guess. When it comes to decision making, permissive parents encourage their children to talk, but they're not much help when it comes to making decisions because parents don't want to upset their indulgent child by offering them a solution that they likely will not like. Therefore, a parent does not put forth much effort into discouraging poor choices or bad behavior.